Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the All-in-One Nerd Show. I am your host.
Hold on 2 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Oh, what happened? Something's
This
going on.
happened last time. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh gosh.
Uh-oh. All right, I'll continue talking while you fix your audio. How about? I'm
Okay, yeah.
Labruski. I'm your host. Co-host here who's having a little audio issue is Illuminati. Today we are going to talk about some video games, some superhero video games to be exact. So I'm very excited to talk about that. Tyler, how's the audio now? Are you all set?
I think it's doable.
All right. Sounds good. We got Nick Bruno, one of my friends in chat. What's up? Echolocation. Hopefully there's no echo now, but let me know if there is. Yeah, how you been? How was your week?
It was interesting. It's cold here in Florida, so
Oh, is it?
that
Well,
was
I'm in New
a
York,
shock to the
so
system.
yeah, it's been freezing in New York. We got below zero a couple days, and it was snow. It wasn't too cold today, but it wasn't warm by any means. It was snowing, but I don't mind it. I kind of like the snow. It's just another reason to stay inside and read comics. So I don't hate it. What have you been reading lately? Anything good?
Just finished How to Do a Power Bomb, but that's really all I've had time for. So
I cannot wait until there's a deluxe out for that. I am funny enough, I'm reading a Daniel Warren Johnson too. I'm reading Extremity. And I'm really enjoying that so far. I'll do a video on that, not this Wednesday, the Wednesday after. So a little over a week, there'll be a video on my YouTube channel about that. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's a great read, and the artwork is just beautiful as always with Daniel Warren Johnson. So yeah, I hope there is a deluxe soon of Do a Power Bomb.
I would assume one is going to come for sure.
I feel like it's got to be coming soon.
Yeah.
Like it's been. I feel like fans have been wanting that for quite a while, probably ever since it came out. For the Jag, solved it. Discord was also playing while you were streaming. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about some video games, some superhero video games that we've played and have enjoyed. So I guess to kind of kick it off, well, let's just talk a little bit about the video games we've been playing lately, non-superhero, because I think we're both bit of gamers. So tell me, what have you been playing lately, whether it's superhero video game or not? And then we have Alex in the chat. Hey, Alex.
So what I have been playing is superhero related, and it is Marvel Rivals.
Okay.
I think me and the rest of the world probably.
Besides me, I haven't played it too much.
You gotta play it.
I played it when it first came out for a couple days, and I don't know, it didn't really grip me, and I used to play Overwatch, which let's be honest here, it's kind of an Overwatch clone, which is what it is, not necessarily a bad thing. And yeah, I don't know, it just didn't grab my attention. So I kind of fell off. But you've been playing that. Have you I know there's like a new season now. I'm sure, have you played that at all? And the Fantastic Four's playable characters, which is cool.
Yeah, so this has been the first time I've played like actually competitive in like a hero shooter. Like usually I try to just keep it in public games because I can get really competitive. Like I played sports most of the like young years of my life, so I'm always like, I'm not getting into the competitive scene and all this stuff.
Esports, yeah,
but I jumped into it in Marvel Rivals, and I've been enjoying it. I've only gotten like really heated like twice, but But yeah, it's
Oh,
been fun
I'd
so
love
far.
to see that. That'd be funny.
No,
Uh,
you do not want to see that.
do you have like a team you play with, or do you just kind of just join randoms? Like, what's the strategy there?
So I have two guys that I play with.
Cool.
One is my best friend from high school. He actually is like ridiculous at these type of games. Like he's
Sure.
been pro level in like Smite and
Jeez.
Apex Legends. He's been like literally like the top 100 listing for these games.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, I play
Sounds like
with
a
him until
nerd.
he smokes me, and then once he smokes me rank wise, I can't play with him.
Sure.
Um, but my wife's best friend's husband, I've been playing with him lately. He's the same rank as me, and he doesn't play often, but we play when we can. So I play
Cool.
with them mostly, but it's solo queue most of the
Who
time.
who do you main? Who's your go-to
So
hero?
as much as I want it to be Cap, I'm actually a Thor main.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
which
I
is kind of weird.
when I did play it when it first came out, I would play as the Winter Soldier because that I played as McCree, the cowboy from Overwatch,
Hmm.
and and they play like super like pretty much the same. So I would play as the Winter Soldier, and I did try out some of the other heroes, but I don't know. There's just so much going on with like the controls and like there's so many moves you can do, and it was like too much. I was like, okay, with Winter Soldier, you just kind of point and shoot, and he has some abilities, like, but that's it. Pretty simple.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would like to. I don't know. I need to try to get more into it. Let's see. We got some comments here. Alex, the free Thor skin is amazing. Love it. JMS Thor design. So, do they have like comic book designs in there from famous runs and like the movies and stuff? Or
Yeah, so far they have Psylocke's Jim Lee design. They have Donny Cates Thor, Cosmic Thor. They have
okay,
J. Michael Straczynski's Thor from when he returned after Ragnarok, post Civil War. Um, they have a World War Hulk or a Green Scar Hulk, which is a comic
nice.
book suit. So
Yeah,
they have some, but that's why I don't really like the seasons because they're like, oh, play this amount of time and you get this skin, which is like, Winter Soldier dressed up like a bunny. Like, I don't want that,
that's
like,
weird. I didn't know
yeah,
that
who
was in
needs
the
that?
game. That's funny. Okay, Fifth of Jack Gaming. Not surprised. Labruski is the anti-Illuminati when it comes to matters of opinion. Yes, I guess that's true. And then a Fifth of Jack. I played it a few times and completely had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, I remember we were trying to get a squad together. Me, you, Fifth of Jack, and then I think your two buddies. We were
Yeah.
gonna try to
Yep.
do like a full team. So I don't know. Maybe we still can do that. I'm always open to play it. And then we have Peter Orchard Studios. Hope you're doing well. He says, I've been out of the superhero games since PS3. What's good these days? Well, I think let's see, there's been some bad superhero games lately. I mean, we had Suicide Squad, which I paid full price for and played maybe an hour of.
Oof.
Yeah. And now it's like free. So I feel a little ripped off.
Yeah.
Uh, then you had like Gotham Knights, or was it Arkham Knights? No, it was Gotham Knights,
Gotham Knights.
which I haven't tried. Or no, I did try it, but I don't know. I didn't beat it or anything. Have you played that one? I know that's got pretty mixed reviews.
Yeah, I played about an hour of Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I think same here. I played less of Gotham Knights, though. I know that.
I'm not as like on the hate train with both of them. I mean, I think I'm more on the hate train with Gotham Knights opposed to Suicide Squad, but
Interesting. Okay.
um both of them did feel like they were lacking. Like that was my takeaway was it felt a little unfinished.
Well, I think both of those games were trying to be a live service games where they're going to do season kind of like Rivals, where they're just always going to continue to pump out like cosmetics,
Hmm.
whatnot. And I think that can work. Like I think it's working well with Rivals, but I think with more I don't know. I think with Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights, that formula was not the way to go. And I think I think sales tanked for both those games, and
Yeah.
both were pretty critically panned. Um, Peter Orchard says the Wolverine game was one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
What which one was it? Like, I know there was a Wolverine Origins, which was actually I hear good things about. I haven't played it, but that was
Yeah,
like
that's the one he's talking about. Yeah.
that was like a weird outlier because it was like a movie license game, but it was still actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I never played that one. Maybe my brother did. My brother was always a big Wolverine fan. I mean, not so much me.
It was leaps and bounds better than the movie. I can confirm that.
Okay, it was it. Did it follow a similar story or did it branch out?
I mean, it had like the same final boss and stuff like that, but there was definitely scenes where it did not happen in the movie, and but it was awesome. It was like just so much better than the movie. It was incredible.
Cool, cool. All right. Alex says, wasn't a fan of Gotham Knights. It felt very stiff and empty.
There you go,
I
stiff. That's a good way to
Yeah, I
describe it.
watched a lot of some videos on it and some critiques where it felt empty. And just from the gameplay and when I played it, I would agree with that. Peter Orchard, Star Trek Online got me. I was a pre-order guy waiting at GameStop overnight. Oh my goodness. Then felt ripped off when it came out. Now it's free. LOL. All my exclusive DLC was worthless. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I guess that's what video game companies like to do. Oh,
Yep.
Fifth of Jack Gaming. The Guardians of the Galaxy game is another one too. Did you play that?
I played a little bit of it and I loved it, but I just haven't
Oh my,
had time to return.
so much fun. I got the platinum for that on PS5. Super easy platinum. But I played it when it came out and loved it. I thought I was like, this is so much fun. And nobody was talking about it. I think
Yep.
everyone kind of expected it to be a pretty bad game, but
Well, didn't it
it was
release
not.
around the same time as like Spider-Man, or there was something else that was released
Um,
with it?
no, it came out a couple years before Spider-Man 2, and then came out like a 3, 4 years after the Spider-Man 1 or whatever. I'm trying to think what else was around that time. I don't know if anything superhero related came out around that time because it would have been the fall of 2022, I believe.
Yeah. Because I do remember something came out the same like time period and it just got swamped. Like nobody was talking about it because nobody knew about it. Like it just went completely under the radar.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the big game was that fall. I remember there was Deathloop that came out, but I don't think that was a huge success either.
Yeah, no.
I did enjoy Deathloop though. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Let's see.
Oh, the Miles Morales games, that was cool, that one. I really enjoyed that one. John Scott Gilpin, hopefully I'm saying that right. I hope you're doing well. Not worthless. You get to experience all of it before anyone else did. Business models change, but they can't take your time back. That's a positive spin to it. In Spider-Man 2, you flip between Peter and Miles, so it's an interesting experience. Yeah, I would agree. I think and we'll dive into that more of the other good modern superhero games.
Yep.
Alex says, with the success of Marvel Rivals, I could see comics hopefully being advertised more, perhaps a skin for a new event or something similar. That would be cool. I have seen a lot of buzz about people playing Marvel Rivals and then reading comics. So it is an interesting gateway. So yeah, that would be awesome if Marvel could do something like that, and maybe DC could have their own Rivals sort of game and do something like that. That'd be cool.
Fingers crossed for that. I'm hoping for like a DC Rivals. Gosh, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah, I was watching a video earlier today, and I can't remember the YouTuber's name, but he does a lot of superhero stuff. And he did a video about like a what if, they did a DC Rivals. And so it was super interesting. He had a lot of interesting ideas and whatnot. And I would imagine they would do something like that, but I would prefer to see maybe like an Injustice 3 first. I think that'd be I really like both Injustice games. So I would like to see an Injustice 3. Fifth of Jack Gaming, I think Guardian got the blowback from Marvel's Avengers being. Yes, so that could be it. The Guardians of the Galaxy game, I think, was developed by like a sister company of Square Enix, who developed the Marvel's Avengers game. So yeah, I think a lot of people thought it was going to be bad, but then it wasn't. So I think you might be right there. Peter Orchard Studio says, I'm more of a comic guy than a gaming guy. It would be cool if they made a superhero game like Marvel Legos, but without the Legos. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Did you play that one? There was I think it was just Lego Marvel superheroes or something like that.
Yeah,
On PS4, I want to say. That was
yeah.
cool because there was like a New York City sandbox and you could be, whatever superhero in Lego form. But I remember playing that and having a lot of fun.
I think that's how Lego Batman like 3 or something like that is too. Like you can just play as the entire Justice League. But I love those games. Those are so much fun.
I played the original Lego Batman and I love that. I had that for the Wii and then also for the DS, and I just love that game so much. And I don't think I might have played the second one of the Lego Batman, but after that I never got into it. But I did play the Lego Marvel superheroes and enjoyed that.
Did you play the most recent Lego Star Wars that came out?
I've not, no.
That's really
The
good. Really, really good.
Skywalker Saga or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's something like that, but they overhauled everything. It's incredible. Really good game.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the Lego games too much now as an adult. I just think they're just not as fun to me, I guess. I don't know. Nothing
Yeah.
against them. I enjoyed them as a kid, but now when I go and play them, it's just not the same, unfortunately. I wish that wasn't the case, but it just is. So why don't we start talking more about superhero video games in the sense of like what you first remember playing growing up? If there was a particular superhero video game that you really loved, what would that be?
Growing up, I would probably say like the original Spider-Man games, right? I mean,
Okay, yeah.
that was like the golden age of what felt like superhero gaming for the time. Spider-Man 1
Yeah.
and 2, just incredible games. Nothing like them ever. And then especially Spider-Man 2, where you can there's like a level where you can actually, and these aren't open world Spider-Man games. This is before we had that technology. But
Right.
there's a level where Spider-Man's on the ground and you're like running below the city, which I thought was so cool. And then in Spider-Man 2, you fight Electro and you get battle damaged, which like again was just
Ahead
mind
of its
blowing.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah. No, I think those games and
It was
what
just
happened? My phone started playing. I think a lot of those two games in particular were definitely pioneering for the superhero video game genre, if
yeah.
you will. Um, I mean, people today even say like the swinging in Spider-Man 2, the original one is still better than like the new ones, which I don't know if that's the case.
Wait, are
But
you talking Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 game?
yeah.
I'm talking the ones before that.
Oh my god, dude, you're old.
Yeah.
You're old, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I'm too familiar with those games then.
Yeah. It's I think it was just called Spider-Man and
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 like Electro's Revenge or something. It was on the
Okay.
PlayStation 1. But we can get into the Sam Raimi video games because I got fond memories on those, but this is
Okay.
before Sam Raimi, this is before PS5 Spider-Man. This is like OG stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You're an old man. I yeah, I don't remember any of those games. I
I don't know. That may have came out late 90s, maybe. Let's see. I can
I
look it up
was
real quick.
not even born if that's the case. I do, however, remember playing. You remember those like controllers that had like the video games in them, and you would just buy the controller and you'd plug the controller right into the TV, and you would just that was like the console. I remember I had one for Spider-Man and playing that, and it was like a weird lizard mission when you were like in the sewers, and so I have like weird memories of that. And I mean, those games I don't think were good. Any of those like controller console games, but they pumped those out like crazy in the early 2000s. They really did. Yeah. They had like one for like every major movie, like a Shrek one, you name it. They probably had one.
Yeah, I had all the superhero ones, and I think I had like a random SpongeBob one where his nose was the joystick.
Yeah, I had that one too. I had the SpongeBob one. I remember that. Yeah, those games were not good. Those weren't the good superhero games at all.
No.
But okay, so there were, yeah, I don't know if what did you find the year that it came out, the Spider-Man games you're talking about?
There's been so many Spider-Man games, it's giving me like every single like 1982. It definitely was not 1982. I'm gonna go with 1990. If someone can fact check me that isn't on a stream, I would be much appreciated.
Maybe a Fifth of Jack Gaming can find that out. But yeah, so I mean, I think like the Spider-Man Sam Raimi licensed video games were huge. You know, those were, I'm trying to think of any other like superhero video games around that time. I think those were like the biggest superhero video games for sure around that time, I'd imagine.
Yes.
And like I said, I mean, Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi one, I mean, people still look back on this, the web swinging and whatnot, and thinks that's kind of the best that it's been done yet.
Thank you, Herbie.
Oh, and then we have Herbie 2000 and 2001 for the PS1 Spider-Man games.
Yep.
Wow, so I would have been 1. Wow. Fifth of Jack Gaming, yes, I remember those games. I played on SNES. So Maximum Carnage was my favorite cartridge was red. Oh, that's interesting. I do remember hearing about Maximum Carnage on the SNES. I do know of that game. What other superhero video games kind of growing up or maybe in your teenage years do you remember playing and remember being kind of the big games, if you will?
Another one I remember, which this was before my time, but this was before we had any type of console, and we had a Sega Genesis, which was a cartridge game system.
Yeah.
And we had Death and Return of Superman, which was a side-scrolling beat 'em up where you played as Superman, you fought Doomsday, you died, then you had the reign of the Superman, you know, you played as Cyborg Superman, Steel, Superboy, and then you had the return of Superman to come back and fight Cyborg Superman. It was just, again, another like, man, I like comic books, you know, playing these video games, and I was really into that because Death and Return of Superman was my first like comic. Like my brother had a trade paperback and all the issues and all that stuff. He was obsessed with that storyline. So when we pulled the Sega out and put that in, I was like, man, this is heaven.
Wow. You're old, dude. I forget that sometimes. So I never had a Sega Genesis, never had I think my first console I had really was my brother's. I think it was the N64. I don't want to say. And that was probably his first console too, I imagine.
The Sega was my brother's first console, but we didn't really, you know, have money for game systems for a long time. We would always get them like, you know, when the PS2 was coming out, that's when I got a PS1, you know, like that's how we kind of function. So when the PS1 was out, I was still playing Sega Genesis, and then we got a PS1, and that's when I played Spider-Man. And that was, you know, those graphics back then, it's, you know, you thought you're looking at like a photograph. It was so real back then.
Oh, that's funny. We got Alexander Miller too. Hey, I hope you're doing well. Fifth of Jack Gaming, biggest game, Halo 3. I love RPGs. So Ultimate Alliance, X-Men Legends, Mass Effect and Dragon Age Origins are among my favorites. I do remember playing, I think it was Ultimate Alliance. I remember playing that as a kid on like the GameCube. I remember there's this Spider-Man game on the Wii, Spider-Man Friend or Foe. Have you ever heard of that
Yeah.
one? I remember, I think it was homesick one time, and I just played that the entire day, and I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And the Ultimate Spider-Man game that was based off the comic book, that was a lot of fun. I remember playing that. And there was no really DC games until like Arkham Asylum, I feel like. that I
There
played.
was a game before that called Justice League Superheroes, I think is what the title was.
Mhm.
And it was similar to, it was kind of DC's answer to Ultimate Alliance, where you could choose Justice League characters, but you could only choose 2 at a time. And you
Right.
could play through obviously like missions where you're fighting a bunch of villains, and then it leads up to where you fight Darkseid, but you can slowly start to unlock all the Justice League characters and upgrade them with like speed, strength,
Oh, that's cool.
durability, stuff like that. And me and my brother, we played that to death. Like, that was a really, really fun game. You can probably find playthroughs on it because I don't think anybody knows it existed.
Interesting. Yeah, I know I didn't have that game, but that does sound pretty cool. I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah,
think what
Mortal
other.
Kombat versus DC. I forgot about that too.
Oh, that I didn't have that. I remember a friend had that one. I remember
Yeah.
my friend had the Teen Titans video game that was based off the cartoon, and then I think there was a Batman animated series video game too on the GameCube. I want
Yep.
to say.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But I feel like I didn't really have any DC games growing up. It was mostly like Spider-Man and some Marvel. That was kind of it.
Yeah.
Alex says my first consoles are the Wii and 3DS. After was the Xbox One. Cool. Yeah, I remember. I guess the GameCube would have been really my first console. I want to say might have been the N64 though, but that was more my brother's.
That
Yeah,
counts.
and Mortal Kombat versus DC, Batman: Rise of the Sinsu. Not sure what that one is.
That's the animated series game you're talking about. There's actually
Got it.
2. That's number 2, where you could play as Batman and the Bat family. You could play as Batman, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Robin, but there was one before that where you could play as just Batman.
Okay, got it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I remember that game vividly because you play as Nightwing, and I always liked Nightwing more than Batman. So I played Rise of Sinzu, or I think it's like Sinshu is like the actual pronunciation, but I played a lot of that because Nightwing was in it.
Cool. Fifth Jet Gaming. I was going to give my favorite DC, but I'm sure you're going to cover it. We'll see. We'll see. So I guess why don't we kind of jump more towards the modern age of superhero video games?
Yep.
And well, I will say I think my favorite superhero video game is Batman: Arkham Asylum. I think I do have some nostalgia for it. I do recognize that like Arkham City probably is a better game from a more technical and story standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember getting Arkham Asylum for Christmas when I got my Xbox 360, just playing the heck out of it. I just love that game so much. And it was scary at times. It was a pretty intense and dark game, and
Yeah.
I was like 11 or 12 maybe. And I remember there was the scarecrow sequences, the giant scarecrow. And oh my God, that scared the crap out of me, man. I was freaked out playing that. But I've gone back and replayed Arkham Asylum. I still love it. I got the platinum on PlayStation 4 or 5, and that was a lot of fun. Pretty challenging, but that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So what's your experience with those video games? Have you played them?
I would probably agree that. I mean, that I think Arkham Asylum, I would say, is my favorite of the Arkham trilogy because of that nostalgia factor. I remember walking into a GameStop, and this was back when GameStops had like a console for you to like try out a video game,
Sure, yeah.
and they had the Arkham Asylum arena mode, you know, where you could just beat up people or whatever for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a bunch of rounds.
Yep.
And me and my brother walked in there, and me and my brother, I think we covered last live stream. My brother's into comic books too, not to like my level, but like he really likes comic books. He has like a Superman sign tattooed and everything. But
Oh, wow.
we walked in and we were like blown away. We we could not believe how Batman authentic the video game was,
Yeah.
and we were like dumbfounded. And then I remember we went to run a marathon. It was a themed marathon called like the Zombie Run or something like that, where you run a marathon and do obstacle courses, but zombies are chasing you the whole time.
Okay.
But we finished that. We got Chipotle after, and then we got Arkham Asylum right after, and we played it until like 3 a.m. Just
Sounds like a perfect day.
yeah, it was
That's
crazy. It was
awesome.
so much fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, there is definitely a nostalgic factor for Arkham Asylum in particular for
Yeah.
myself. I remember I got it. It probably was a couple of years after because I think I got Arkham Asylum and Arkham City together. And I played Arkham Asylum first and really enjoyed it. And I started Arkham City, but then I just got, I don't know, into something else or whatever. But I have gone back and beat it a couple times. Yeah, man, those Arkham, like the combat, like you were saying, like just the free flow of the combat is so perfect.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel so badass when you start to get high combos and stuff. And a lot of those challenge modes when you go for like the platinum, so much fun. Pretty hard, but a lot of fun.
And they
Um,
also like we forget those Arkham games like changed action games forever with the whole counter system. Like that
yeah,
became
yeah,
the norm in fighting games.
yeah. No, for sure. It was revolutionary in its own respect, for
Yeah.
sure. Alexander Miller says, my favorite superhero games are Spider-Man PS4 and Rivals. I haven't played Arkham games yet. You definitely should. The Arkham
Yeah.
games are so good. And it's, especially if you're a comic fan, like the story in those games are just so much fun for comic book fans. Yeah, I love it. Alex says, Labruski definitely has PTSD from the 100%, those damn Riddler trophies. Um, in Arkham Asylum, the Riddler trophies aren't horrible. They can be a little, they're not as bad as like there's not an overabundance like there are in like the Arkham City or Arkham Knight. It's more manageable. So a little bit, but I would say I had more PTSD from the challenge modes. Those were tough at times. What are some games from the big three image included that you guys would like? Oh, that's a great question.
Mm,
Ooh, I think an Invincible game would be super fun.
yeah.
Let me look at my shelf and see what else.
I remember there was a unreleased Daredevil game, and I only remember because I used to be subscribed to Game Informer, and they were producing it, and I remember them releasing stills. There was a DVD that had gameplay and all kinds of stuff, and I remember thinking how phenomenal that looked, and I wish they would like return to that idea. Like a Daredevil game would be great. So
Yeah,
good.
I do remember hearing about that, the Daredevil game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I could see us getting one at some point in the near future, a Daredevil game, because it does make sense. You know, it'd be similar to like the Arkham combat and the maneuvers and stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
not something like the Flash game, which Alex suggests, which would be awesome. But you definitely have an obstacle to tackle with the speed. You know how you do that,
Yeah.
and how you make it fun to play. You know that's yeah, it'd be tough. We have Grunk underscore TV. Hey, I hope you're doing well. Alex also says Flash or Nightwing / Daredevil. Yeah, I think I think those games would be a lot of fun. Like I said, I think Invincible would be a fun game. It's tough. I'm trying to think what other. I mean, I guess I don't know. I would say maybe something in the Saga world, but I don't think that would ever happen.
Yeah,
I think I don't know. I don't know how you do that because Saga's
it's too niche. Like I think
yeah, a little bit.
not enough people know about it.
Yeah, I think it may be a little too niche. And I think that's the issue with a lot of indie books is
Yeah.
that I mean, like The Walking Dead has a lot of bad video games out there. But I think,
Wait,
like I
what do you
said, I
mean
think
by that?
well, it has some bad, like the Telltale video games are good.
Okay, there you go.
The first 2 seasons are I do remember playing that, but a lot of them are horrible. There was one that came out, like, last year that was, like, laughably bad. It was horrible,
Oh wait,
and
I do remember that.
it was an interesting premise too because it followed the TV show, not the comics at all, and you could, like, rewrite the TV show. There was, like, kind of what if scenarios that you could
Oh,
play out through the entire, like, first 3 or 4 seasons. And I'm like, "Okay, that's a cool concept." I kinda like that, where instead of spoilers for the TV show, instead of Rick dying or Shane dying, you could kill Rick and Shane could continue on. So,
whoa.
super interesting kind of what if scenarios, but yeah, that from what I saw, that video game was horrible.
Yeah, my abrupt cutting you off was I thought you were referencing the Telltale games. I was about to lose
No,
my
no.
lid.
I I haven't played, uh, all the seasons of the Telltale games, but I did play, I think, the 1st and maybe 2nd season and enjoyed at least the 1st season. Whatever I played, I enjoyed it.
Got it.
Um, a 5th Jack Gaming for Marvel, I would love a Hulk game inspired from World of War Hulk. Could be interesting. I think so too. I think that'd be interesting. I hope for Born Again, since there's inspiration from Zdarsky comics, that'd be interesting. Anthony Jameson, hope you're doing well. I want a Superman game immediate, please. Warner Brothers, give me a Superman game right now.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think that's something a lot of people want, but I think we'll get one eventually. To be honest, but I think if they're working on it, trying to figure out the mechanics, how you make playing Superman be fun, right? I mean, I guess the flying around and being able to beat up unlimited people would be fun, but it needs to be
Well,
somewhat challenging, I feel like, and so
here's my hot take of that topic. So
oh,
I believe the mechanics have already been figured out. They just need to implement them. So the Superman Returns game, I don't know if you played that.
I don't think so.
So the Superman Returns movie came out. It came out with a video game version or a video game adaptation, whatever the proper term of that is. And the mechanics in the game were perfect. So you had super speed, super flight, you had heat vision, cold breath, super breath, but you also had like amped up versions of them where you could like scorch a entire uh like cone shape in front of you with your heat vision, or you could make
Mhm.
it like a laser beam. But the coolest aspect of it was Superman's health wasn't his health, it was Metropolis's health.
Oh,
So
okay.
the entire time you're fighting, what you're trying to stop is Metropolis from being destroyed, and that's how you die is Metropolis gets destroyed
Interesting.
beyond construction. So that is a great aspect that they need to put into a Superman game.
Yeah, and I think that would work. I
Yeah.
think yeah, I think that would kinda solve the big problem of, how is Superman gonna die? Which he does in the comics, and has before, but I mean, he's not like Batman where, he could take a bullet and die, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But I also think
I do
some
like that.
people can be a little loose about that too, because like we look at the Wolverine Origins video game and he could die in that, and they just explained it as, oh, if your skin doesn't grow back, your vital organs are exposed. But like Wolverine can heal from that too. But
Right.
people, it was a good game and that's all people really cared about. So I mean, I do think the mechanics are there and they're solid enough. I mean, they're still a little questionable, but I think that's the most you need. You just need to have a good video game with like okay mechanics when it comes to the health, at least for a Superman game, at least.
Yeah. Anthony Jameson says he plays it to this day still. So that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess they figured it out and they need to put that in a new Superman game because I think fans want that. Alexander says indie books are unknown until they aren't. Yeah, that's fair, especially for people who don't read comics. I feel like, like in the comics community, a lot of indie books tend not to be necessarily unknown. But if you're outside of it, yeah, like
Yeah.
great example, Invincible, Walking Dead. Those books were unknown until there was a TV show that made it huge.
Yep.
Alexander makes a claim in 6 years, Radiant Black will be the next Invincible. What do you think about that? Have you read Radiant Black?
Maybe like 10 issues,
Okay.
give or take.
I remember when it first started coming out, I own at least the first issue and maybe like issue 1 or 2, 3 maybe. Yeah, and I thought that the series was good. I do want to get like the nice oversized deluxe eventually because I think that'd be awesome. Peter is back. Glad to have you back. Are they going to use AI for Kevin Conroy's Batman future in future Batman projects? I hope not.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I think that'd be a bad move. I don't think fans want that at all. I mean, I think there's I think Kevin Conroy is a great Batman voice actor, and people think he's like the Batman voice actor, which is fair. But I mean, I think other actors can do it too. We've seen that before where they can
And
do
we
it
saw that with the
successfully.
Cape Crusader, right? That was a different voice actor.
Yeah. Yes, that was. And like Arkham Origins, that wasn't Kevin Conroy or Mark Hamill as the Joker. So I mean, it can be done. And I think that's the route they should go. And I think they will. I don't think they'll use AI. I can't imagine they would. There are so many movie tie-in games in the 2000s. That was like a huge trend in the early 2000s. Fifth of Jack Gaming. Yes, Radiant Black is pretty awesome. It's Power Rangers like, but different. That's what I hear. I do want to, I'll buy that trade eventually for sure and try that out. I'm sure I'll like it. Kyle Higgins wrote my first trade, Nightwing Volume 3, New 52. Yes, and he's the writer of Radiant Black. Awesome. We have Recon Comics and Collectibles. Yo, what up? Hope you're doing well. I think it would be fun to do Beneath the Trees Where No One Sees. I haven't read it, but it sounds interesting. As a video game, you think that'd be interesting? I don't know. I mean, I think because a video game does need to be like somewhat action packed to some degree. I mean, we've seen video games where it's not, like with the Telltale games. So it can be done, but I don't know how marketable it'd be unless they do unless it's like some indie project, which I guess it would be, where they do a different spin on it, almost where it's like a who done it, I guess. I don't know how they would. I think there's a way to do it for sure.
So there actually is a game that's somewhat similar to Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, and it's called Naughty Bear. I just looked it up because I thought it was called Bad Bear. But Naughty Bear, you play as a psychopathic, murderous bear that runs around a small town and murders other teddy bear creatures. So it kind of exists. It's more like teddy bears than like actual animals, but
yeah,
it's pretty close.
Interesting. I did not know that was a game. Maybe I'll have to try that out. It seems interesting. So yeah, I guess really if they do something like that with Beneath the Trees Where No One Sees, yeah, I think it could work. Alex says I haven't played the new Hellboy game, but I heard it was good. Yeah, I think that one kind of flew under my radar a little bit. I knew it was coming out, and then next thing I know, it's already out and whatnot. I think that's like a roguelike, and I do like the art style of it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if it's on sale or something, maybe I'll check it out. I do like roguelikes a lot. Have you played that one? It came out, I think, last year or maybe the year before.
I haven't played that one because the combat in it seems a little stiff.
Sure.
But going into the topic of indie books that get video games, I think Hellboy has had 3, so that's kind of
That's
making us eat our words of
a little bit.
indie comics don't get video games because I mean he's gotten a few.
I wonder, chat, let us know if there are any other indie comics besides The Walking Dead that has gotten a video game, because I'd be curious. I was just brainstorming and thinking of some other indie books that could make for good video games. I think Something's Killing the Children could make for a good video
Ooh,
game.
yeah.
I think that could they could easily do something good with that. I think I Hate Fairyland could be interesting. And there was one more too I was thinking of. What was it? I don't know.
I
Now I can't remember what it was now. Oh well.
actually just looked up indie comic video games, and there actually is a ton.
Is
And
there?
it's actually jogging my memory a little bit too, because there is some games that were out there that I'm like, oh yeah, I did play that.
So I guess TMNT.
Yeah, TMNT.
There's a Crow video game that's kind of cool. Alien versus Predator. I don't know. That's so much comic.
Spawn has had 1.5 million video games. Like
That's
so
true.
many. There was also a Iron Man and Exo Man of War, who's a Valiant character video game. It was a crossover video game on the PlayStation 1. I
Interesting.
remember playing that.
Okay. There's been a Wildcats, a Bone.
You're on the
Video
same
game by-
website.
Interesting. Okay. So I guess we're wrong a little bit. I think there's a lot more potential when it comes to indie comics and video games. I think that'd be awesome. Oh, we got Legion of Comics. What's up? I hope you're doing well. I've not chatted with you in a second, but I hope all is well. He says Hellboy game. Yes. Alexander, thank you for the reminder. Omni-Man was in Mortal Kombat. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't played that. I think it was either Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat 1. They like did a reboot sort of. And I can't remember which one it was in, but I do hope they do an Injustice 3 video game. I think that'd be awesome. Spawn also was in Mortal Kombat. TMNT was I don't know. I'm trying to think of what other characters were.
Homelander's in
Homelander. Oh, I think The Boys. I think they could do a cool video game with that. Series. And I'm pretty sure it was kind of teased that they were doing something with that. Like I think the showrunner or someone like a producer on the show said like stay tuned to answering that question, whether there was going to be a video game. So I think that'd be cool. John Scott says I Hate Fairyland would go hard. I think so too.
Yes.
I think they need to keep it in this style, but I think they could do it. I think it could be awesome. Anthony Jameson, I want William Dafoe play the Joker in James Gunn's DCU Batman Brave and the Bold movie. That'd be cool. I can't imagine they'd go that route. I think they're going to go for a younger actor. I want, honestly, I think Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise and Nosferatu, could make a great Joker.
Yeah.
I hope he is the Joker because I think he'd rock it. I also too, this is going to be a weird take, kind of, not so much a take, but when the solo Joker movie was coming out with Joaquin Phoenix, I was thinking of other actors, like unconventional actors who could play the Joker and have their own interpretation on it. And I have two that I think could work. Okay. The first one is a little out of left field. The second one, very much so. Like you are going to think I'm crazy for this. The first one, who I think could play the Joker and have its an own interesting spin, is Bill Hader. I think Bill Hader would knock it out of the park as the Joker. Not so much maybe in like the DCU. Like I think it would have worked more so in more of like an indie type film, like the Solo Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. But I think he could play the Joker and really pull it off. Okay, and the second person who I want to see play the Joker is Conan O'Brien. I think he could do it. I
No
think
way,
he could
man.
do it. Yes, yeah, I see it. It's definitely a take and like a very much it's out there, but I think with the right team and maybe the right acting coach, it can be done. And Conan could play the Joker. Now, I don't think he's an actor. In fact, he was in a movie not too long ago acting, and he was not that good in it. So I don't know if he has the acting chops. That's why I think that an acting coach is, a necessity. But
I'm with you on Bill Hader. His acting in Barry
oh yeah,
is that shows he can do
incredible.
dark. He can
Yeah,
do really, really dark. So I could see that. Conan
it would
O'Brien,
be.
you lost me. You lost me
Yeah,
fully. I can't
that's where I
lie.
lose everybody when I say Conan. When I mention Conan, I lose everybody. But with Bill Hader, it would definitely be its own take. Like I don't think it would be kind of like, Joaquin Phoenix, where it's not necessarily so much like the comic book version of the Joker. It's its own sort of spin on the character.
Yeah.
But I think it could work. I think it could work. Let's see. Alex says a Blackest Night survival horror game would be cool. Is Blackest Night, isn't that like kind of like the Marvel zombie version of the DCU, sort of, right? Isn't that where zombies like take over? I haven't read it, obviously.
It's an event. So it's an event where the black rings become a thing and they start
Okay.
resurrecting those that have died and turning them into Black Lanterns. So kind of zombie, but it's an actual in canon event that took place.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I'm not familiar, I guess, with my DC events. Let's see. No Joker for 10 plus years in DCU.
I agree.
I don't think it'll be 10 years, but it could be at this rate. I mean, who knows? I don't think the Joker will be like the main villain in the Brave and the Bold by any means. I think they will go with a different villain that we haven't seen, similar to what they did with, like, we have seen the Riddler, but we did kind of need like a fresh take on the Riddler almost. So
Yeah.
I think they will go that route and whatnot. What about Jim Carrey as the Joker? Yeah, I mean, I think I would like to see it, to say, like, I would like to see what that would look like for sure.
I mean, can I point out the elephant in the room with both these castings, though?
Okay.
I mean, William Dafoe and Jim Carrey, I'm not saying they wouldn't kill it.
Yeah.
It's just they're really old. They're really, really old. So I just think, like,
They're getting
if
up
we're
there.
looking forward, we got to set the foundation to work up to, hopefully, what the MCU did, 10 years of in canon, in continuity,
Right.
universe films. And, William Dafoe and Jim Carrey, they won't be around
Well,
then, so
I hope they are to some degree. I mean, they're not that old.
William Dafoe is pretty old. I mean, I don't know his
Yeah.
actual age, but he looks rough, man. He looks.
I bet he's like early 70s, late 60s, maybe. That'd be my guess. Somebody fact check me on that. See how right I am.
That's pretty old.
That is old. You're right. Yeah. I mean, it could be interesting. I don't know. Like, isn't there like that 3 Joker storyline where it's like
Yeah.
so maybe they could do something like that.
That
where
would
they
work.
do it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. Where they do have kind of like an older Joker. I'm spitballing here. Let's see.
He's 60.
Norman Reedus has Red Arrow. Who's Red Arrow?
Red Arrow is Green Arrow's old sidekick, who went by Speedy, but then when he became his own man, he became Red Arrow.
How original.
Yeah.
He really thought outside the box for that one.
Well, get this. His
Oh,
name's Roy Harper too. So 2 more R's to add to the Red Arrow.
ish. Oh my goodness. Omni Nation Comics. Hey, what is up? I hope you're
What's
doing
up,
well.
Day
Thank
Day?
you for joining us. Then we have Alexander Miller on YouTube. Hope you're doing well. Oh, wow. Congrats on 300, Luburski. Thank you, Alex. I did not know we hit 300. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Anthony Jameson, he's 60. He's still pretty old. Yeah, for sure. John Scott calling you out. He hates old people. Dude, Illuminati. Why do you hate old people?
I am old. I'm probably the oldest one here right now. I would take a shot in the dark and say I am.
Well, out of us two, you are. But in the entire chat, I think.
All right, chat, sound off. What are our age? Come on, say it all.
Yeah, let's hear it. Cameron, I don't know how to say his name. Mana Khan.
Let's see
Not
his
sure.
face.
Oh, the actor who played. He does. He did the Joker in Gotham, and then he played the Star Wars character too. I can't remember in The Fallen Jedi.
Cal Kestis. Yeah, I liked his Joker in Gotham. He's a good actor. I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they reuse the same actor though. To be honest.
Yeah, no, probably not.
I think if he was given a shot, I'm sure he could do fine. Yeah. He looked rough at 20, and maybe that's. I think that's a William Dafoe. Let's see.
He does have a point there. He did look rough at 20.
Congrats on 300. Thank you. We gonna have to update deeper into DC. That'd be fun. Yeah. Let's see. I've seen the fan art of William Dafoe's Joker. It works pretty good. I agree. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got that beautiful smile. Yeah, yes, I said beautiful, and I'm sticking with that word. It's a beautiful smile.
I agree too. I'm just saying the tenure. I don't know if it's there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think. I mean, even when he was like Green Goblin, like he was old, you know. But he did come back as Green Goblin and killed it, right? But I think what you're saying, you know, that was more of a one-off, probably. I don't know. We'll see him back, maybe.
I'm just saying with the Joker, like we know that's like he has to appear in multiple movies. You know, if we're gonna go the long road, at least, you know, like if we're gonna just do like 3 Batman films and then Batman's never gonna appear again, then okay, we can go with it. But Joker's gonna be a reoccurring character. He has to be. He's a very important part to the DC universe, so he has to go the long haul.
I agree. Alex says both of you are around 27 to 31. I'm 24. So
and you added a year to my age. That hurt.
Alex, man, what are you doing? No, just kidding. That's a good guess, though. You're not too off. Adam says 39 years young. That's right. Until I get up in the morning, then it hits like a train. LMAO. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I wake up in the morning feeling great, energized. That's not true.
Just wait.
I don't. I need at least my body doesn't hurt when I wake up, which is, I guess, is good.
Yeah.
But I'm not energized, to say the least. John Scott's 42. Okay, I think he's got his beat.
Yeah.
42 years young. Remember that. Heath Ledger is still the wildest casting that worked out perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other actors who were like Ben Affleck. A lot of people thought he was going to tank as Batman, but I liked his performance personally. Who else just knocked out of the park that everyone thought?
Tobey Maguire, believe it or not, broke what was the internet at the time. Nobody liked Tobey Maguire.
Wow, I wasn't around then. I'm not 90, so I don't remember. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other castings in recent years. I the Wonder Woman actress, I remember there was some dispute online when she was cast, Gal Gadot,
Gal Gadot, yeah.
and she ended up being pretty good. I don't know. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I think you're
Heath
right.
Ledger was the worst. That
Yeah,
was everybody was, like, ready to boycott because of Heath Ledger.
yeah. No, for sure. So I think you're right. I think that is the wildest casting that worked out perfectly. Me and Dunn? No, don't be silly. You're not dumb. Tyler is saying he wants another Hugh Jackman. Someone's do it for the long term.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Hugh Jackman too. He's old as heck too, and he's going to be playing Wolverine forever. I think at this rate. Which I hot take. I want to see a different actor play Wolverine. Like Henry Cavill looked so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. There was talks of the guy who played in Taron something Edgerton, maybe or maybe not. He played in Kingsman and then played
Yeah,
Elton
yep.
John. There was some rumor castings around him. I'm like, I see it. And then there was also like Daniel Radcliffe,
Yeah.
which I'm a little iffy about, but I I don't know. I'm a little iffy about that one. But I
You
do want to see someone else play Wolverine. So
I'm
I guess
with you. I think once he because I am pretty sure if it hasn't been confirmed, I mean it's at least been rumorly confirmed that he's going to show up for Secret Wars, but I
yeah,
think he just needs to hang it up after that. I
I do
as much as
agree.
I love him and everything, it's time to move on.
I agree with you for sure. I think I don't know. I just want to see something fresh. And it seems like we're gonna get an X-Men movie in the MCU,
Hmm.
and I want to see a new Wolverine. Um, I don't know. We with Logan, it was like such a perfect send off, and I feel like they did
Yeah,
kind of tarnish that legacy a little with Deadpool and Wolverine. And not to say he was bad or that movie was bad or anything like that because it wasn't, but the send off with Logan was just like perfect. Like that's the perfect way to end that character, that run.
yep.
And not, I don't know. They didn't necessarily even redo it, right? Because it was like a different Wolverine. Okay, cool, but I think it would have been nice to see someone else play it.
Have you heard the rumors behind Henry Cavill's Wolverine?
No, not really. What are the rumors?
So supposedly, which again, take this with a grain of salt,
Yeah.
um, the Henry Cavill Wolverine, why he was a different actor than Hugh Jackman is because that was the MCU's Wolverine.
Okay.
That's what
I
they're saying, but we will see.
I would like that. He, like I said, it was cool.
It
And that
was.
was a casting I had not even thought about, and I don't remember seeing any buzz online about that. So that was like out of left field. I'm like, holy shit, that works.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yep.
I would want to see that. I think now that he's not going to be playing Superman, I
Rip.
think it'd be awesome to see him in that role. He's not going to be playing The Witcher anymore, too. It kind of sucks. I don't know. Is what it is. Anthony Jameson. I still wanted to see Kevin Conroy as Batman in live action and William Dafoe as the Joker in live action as well. Didn't we get a Kevin Conroy in live action as like a
Old Bruce Wayne.
old Bruce Wayne? Like he had the mech suit on, sort of, right?
Yeah, was that Flash or was that Batwoman? I can't remember all my CW shows.
Alex says he did appear as Bruce Wayne in a CW show. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
Um, Alexander Miller. Again, I'm 2 weeks younger than the new 52. So 13. Holy smokes.
Wow.
That makes me feel old. I think I was 13 when New 52 came out. This is my brother, Nicholas Brewer. What's up, brother? Did you play the Spider-Man game for PlayStation 1? My
Yes.
co-host Luminary did. He did play it. Let's see what else we got. I think I heard rumors of Hugh Jackman for another 10 years of Wolverine. Again, it's a rumor. That'd be wild. I don't know if I like that.
That's a wheelchair bound Wolverine at that rate.
It really is. So that'd be interesting to see. No, I don't think it would be. Michael Keane went through people wanting to Boy City. I don't know. Does that make sense to you?
I don't know, but it sounds kinky. I'm in
Boycott.
for
Okay,
it.
I'm sorry. Boycott. Um,
Okay.
I do remember. I wasn't around then, but I do remember hearing about about that.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, actually. Alexander Miller, Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine is insane. I do agree. I think it's kind of insane.
I don't know,
Oh,
man. I'm kind of for it. I don't know.
Robert, I'm open to it. I'm open to it. I mean, he's small. You know, he fits more of the physique of the comic version of Wolverine, so I'm open to it. Robert Pattinson as Batman was also a bold casting. That's true, very much so. And yeah, I don't know if it was. I don't know. I think people were willing to accept him as Batman, and when the trailer came out too, I think people were like, "Okay, I see the vision."
I think people were way too hung up on Twilight.
That's true.
He was
That's
in
true.
so many movies post Twilight, and his acting chops were. I mean, he is such an incredible actor. I just couldn't believe people were like, "We don't need a shining vampire Batman's." Like, that's not the only movie he's been in.
Yeah. No, he was in a Good Time. Have you ever watched that one?
I have watched that, but I do not remember a single thing about it.
That was pretty good. That was by the Safdie brothers, who did like Uncut Gems. And that was also both those movies were like so anxiety inducing. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Um, Fifth Jack, I wanted Keaton to bring it in Batman Beyond. I thought it would be amazing to see him hand off it to a different fan base. I think we are supposed to get something like that, but with the Batgirl movie. That's what it kind of seemed like, but then that got canceled. Um, let's see what else. I saw a comment. Oh, my brother's comment. My brother texted me like 2 shows ago, and he texted me. He's like, "Yo, are you going to talk about Gotham?" And I think it was when we had a Fifth Jack Gaming on. He texted me during the show. I'm like, "No, it's not relevant to what we're talking about." I'm like, if you comment it, I guess I'll bring it up. And now he decides to comment. Have you ever talked about how Gotham sucked as a show?
It
No, we
did.
have not. But I guess he wants your opinion, Tyler. What is your opinion on Gotham as a show?
It did suck. Yeah, I don't
There you
I
go.
don't speak about Gotham too much, and I definitely don't speak about that suit that we saw at the end that looked like he got it from Party City. We don't talk about that show.
That's what I heard. I remember when it first came out, being excited to watch it, and I'm watching like the first half of the first season, and then just falling off. I was
I
like,
think I think the first season performs okay as a show. It's just once you get more and more Rogues Gallery characters introduced, then like you start kind of like questioning the continuity of what's going on, and then Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne, being really friendly and kind of intimate at a young age before they've even met as superheroes. I mean, it's just the whole thing doesn't make sense to me personally.
yeah, I think that's why people did not like that show towards the end, was because of some continuity things and just things not making sense.
Yeah.
Um, Also, too, it's a CW show, and I don't like the CW. I don't like
Yeah.
any of their shows that they've done, to be honest.
I think the
Maybe
CW does a great show for 1 to 2 seasons, and then they do the money grab thing, let it go on for 9 seasons, and then it falls apart. I think the first season or 2 seasons of every CW show is decent or good, and then after that,
yeah.
minus Batwoman, that was pretty bad. Both seasons of that were really bad. But everything else, the first 2 seasons, pretty
Well, there
solid
was
stuff.
the Gotham Knights show too, which I think
I
got
don't
like, yeah, that got panned so
didn't
bad.
even watch that, so
I
I
I
don't know.
watched a YouTube video on it, and oh my god, it looked so bad. It was horrible. Yeah. Um. All right, I need to catch up on some of these comments here. Let's see. Alex said, but if Cavill is Wolverine, we would need a bigger casting as Cyclops. I do want a repeat of the Fox movie. I do not want a repeat of the Fox movies where Cyclops is a total loser. I think that's fair. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if I can speak too much about that because I haven't read the X-Men comics. But Illuminati, you were shaking your head, so I think you're kind of on the same page here as Alex. That you don't
Yes.
want to see
Cyclops
that.
is my favorite X-Men character, and what they did with him in the Fox movies was sacrilegious. I mean, just horrible. A little bit of lore behind Illuminati on like my first, second, maybe even third video on YouTube, someone randomly commented and said, "You should try out as the role of Cyclops," which I took as a huge compliment. I just wanted to chime that in there.
I mean, listen, they might be looking to cast Cyclops. I mean, try to put your hat in the ringer with that one. I could see it. That'd be awesome. Go for it. Fifth of Jack Gaming. It was during their final crisis. That's when Kevin Conroy appeared as Bruce Wayne. Anthony Jameson. Have you ever heard of AI covers on YouTube? I have not. I'm not sure what that is. The only movie other than the Batman I've seen with Pattinson is Harry Potter 4. Yeah, I mean, I think that was my first movie that I watched him in. I didn't know who he was at the time. I mean, I think he was not a big actor compared to what he is now. I will say he's in a movie coming up, Mickey 17. The trailer just dropped. I think it's the first trailer. That looks incredible. I do a movie show on Thursdays now, and my movie buddy, Aiden, who co-hosts, he's super excited to watch that. And I think that comes out in March, so I'm definitely going to watch that. Labruski, your brother watches your videos. Mine doesn't. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't think my brother watches all my videos. He says
Mine also doesn't, Alexander.
I don't think he does.
Okay.
He may claim he does, but I don't think he does. So I don't think that's that's not normal for family members to maybe. I at least try to get them to like the video. But even that, it's like I'm pulling teeth sometimes. I'm just like the freaking video. Anyhow, that's a little behind the scenes for Labursky there. For the Jack, got it. Gotham makes it into the we don't talk or we don't speak about it box. LOL. That is true. Yeah, Alex, neither does my brother. Yeah. So I think that's just a common theme. Did you guys see the how do you say that? Naomi,
yeah.
Show that was hilariously bad? I did not. Wasn't her character created solely to have a show? Like, wasn't that like they invented the character in the comics and then like a year later, not even, there was a show?
Yeah, Brian Michael Bendis created character, put in the Justice League, and I think even led the Justice League for a short period of time when Black Adam was also on the Justice League, and she got a show, I think, like 3 months later or something like that. It was crazy, but yeah, no, I did not watch that.
I do remember I was working at a comic shop at the time, and I remember that comic coming out and seeing like the variant covers and whatnot of the actual show. There was also the Stargirl show, I think.
That was actually good.
That's what I heard. I didn't watch it, but that's what I heard. Yeah. Alexander Miller says Gotham Knights was tragic. That's what I hear. It was tragic. Favorite CW Arrow show, Arrow Smallville made me like Superman, humanized him for me, but that series fell off a cliff in the later seasons. Yeah, I did watch a little bit of Smallville when I was younger, actually. I remember watching it and enjoying it. Alexander Miller says he should audition for Damian for Brave and the Bold. Go for it, dude. Listen, if you can get an audition, I'll help you act. Okay. Yeah, that'd be I'll help you train and all that good stuff. Who do you think Jason Momoa will play in the MCU? I think he could play a good Sabretooth.
Mm.
I don't think he'll be cast in the MCU, but I think you're right, Nick. I think he could play a good Sabretooth. I mean, he just got cast as Lobo in the DCU, which is great casting, I will say. So I think
bear with me here, okay?
Okay.
Best casting for Jason Momoa in Marvel is Namor.
I would like to see it, actually.
He has like the sharp eyebrows. He has like the like pointy, sharp features. Like you cut his hair, give him like a shorter, tighter hairstyle. That's
He could
Namor
pull
right
it
there,
off.
man.
I can't imagine we'll ever see it, but if we do, awesome. I mean, there is already a Namor in the MCU, though.
Yeah, but Jason Momoa, that would have been solid. People infamously said the only reason he was casted as Aquaman is because DC wanted to steal him away so that he couldn't be casted as Namor. And one, I think that's idiotic if that is the truth, because that's not how you cast. But
Yeah.
two, he would have killed Namor. That's way more in his wheelhouse of acting.
Yeah, I mean, isn't Namor more? I don't know too much about the character, but isn't he like more like stern and a little more tough, if you will?
I mean, they're both tough, but I think like Namor's way more like on the nose about it. Like he presents as a warrior, where like I think Aquaman presents more as like a king. So he's more regal, where Namor's like, I'm gonna rip somebody's head off if I gotta. Like
he's more aggressive.
Yeah.
Got it. Interesting. I think that's a good casting though, for sure. And interesting. Alex says, I'm very excited for Mickey 17, but I wasn't very fond of the overt comedy in the trailer. I would prefer a more serious tone. I don't know. I always like comedy in films, to be honest with you. So I may be a little biased there, but I thought the comedy played off pretty well. And I think with all the director's movies, I mean, there's always a little bit of comedy in there, even like Parasite, So I do get where you're coming from, but I do kind of stand on the opposite spectrum of that. Alexander Miller, best CW show is Superman and Lois, not Lewis. Superman and Lois. Okay. I have not watched it. Have you watched that, Tyler?
Heck yeah, that is a great show. I stand by that. Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Alex says, here's a pet peeve. Comics that have a TV show advertised on them, Starman Compendium, has a tagline which characters from the hit TV show and the new 52 Omnibus tagline is as good as any TV show. Okay. I guess that's a fair critique to have. I get that for sure.
Yeah.
Jason as Namor. This will be after Marvel gets the rights to have Namor in more projects. Oh, is that the issue? They don't have more rights? They don't have the rights to have Namor?
I thought they do, but maybe Adam knows something I don't. But I thought they had all the rights, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Hazbin Hotel? Not sure what that is.
I just looked it up because I didn't know what it was either, and it didn't help. I still don't know what it is.
Let me look it up.
It's some form of cartoon. It seems like on Amazon Prime. It is rated very high with 81% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Interesting. I don't have an opinion on that, Anthony Jameson, unfortunately. It says here, American adult animated musical comedy. You lost me at musical, I'll be honest. I'm definitely not watching that now.
Maybe you can share your thoughts, Anthony, and sell us on it, because I've never even heard of this. So
yeah, give us the elevator pitch. Try to really sell us on it, because I'd be open to watching it, to be honest with you. My brother, who do you think would play a good Professor X? I think Aaron Paul could be good. I disagree. He's got too big of a head. A little bit. But I see where you're coming from. Yeah. I don't know.
I think
I think Nicholas Hoult, who plays Lex Luthor now and played Beast, seeing him with a shaved head, I'm like, he looks like Professor X too. Thinking
I
about it.
think which I think maybe it just came up because he said Aaron Paul, but Bryan Cranston would be pretty pretty solid Professor X.
I don't
He
know.
he's supposed to be old, so that works, and he pulls off
Yeah.
the "I'm smarter than you" role very, very well, as we saw in Breaking Bad. And he has that manipulative nature that he can kind of implement, which he did in Breaking Bad too. So I think it'd be pretty good.
I'd be open to it. I'm open to any casting though,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
to be honest. I feel like we've lost the plot. We have not talked about any video games. Let's try to talk about some superhero video games before we wrap up. So, the Arkham trilogy, I would say I really enjoy. I even like Arkham Origins. I have not replayed Origins until since I was when it first came out. But Arkham City's good. I do like Arkham Knight, and it looks beautiful. Like the graphics are so good,
Yes.
even today. Like if that game released today, it would look like a newly released game. Like the graphics are that good and have held up so well over almost 10 years, I think now that it's been out. I think it came out like 2015. I'm trying to think of what other superhero video games. Spider-Man, PS4. I remember, well, before we dive into that, the Arkham trilogy. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that is the golden standard of a superhero video game.
I
Origins,
agree.
not so much. I think Origins um was kind of like a gap filler game. Like I don't think anybody wanted it to be
Yeah.
great, so it was as good as it needed to be. But all three of the Arkham games, I mean, that is what you need to make all superhero games try to be like, in their own regard. Obviously, I don't want
Yeah.
every Spider-Man handling like Batman, but like
Yeah.
it needs to be that comic, like comic authentic, I guess, to the source material.
I would completely agree. I think it's fun to play. The story is engaging. If you're a comics fan, you'll love it. It feels almost like a comic book in some ways. It's very comic booky. It's very out there. We get like Clayface and Poison Ivy, and so I just love that. And I hope it's like the DCU Batman movies are in the similar vein, where it is very more on the paranormal or supernatural side of the rogues gallery for Batman. I think that'd be awesome. So,
Yeah. And I also
yeah.
think they did great with those games when it came to not only, the ass kicking side of Batman, but like you were a detective, you went
Yeah.
to crime scenes and you found DNA and, blood and crime scene weapons and followed footsteps, and like it made you feel like Batman. And that's such an important aspect to the immersion of playing those games.
No, for sure. For sure. And yeah, I think it nailed it across the board in a lot of respect. I know like Arkham Knight got a little flack because it relied a little bit too much on the Batmobile,
Yeah.
but and I understand that critique, but like the Batmobile is so much fun to play, you know. But
And
I
and
do kind of wish they did tone it down a little bit and had a better balance between more of the combat and Batmobile missions.
And you
Uh,
also have to think too, I mean, for anybody critiquing how much the Batmobile's in it, like Batman's always in his Batmobile. Like if you
that's
read
true.
any comic book, like that is like the main weapon of his arsenal, is like he rolls up and he's flying through a wall and taking out 10 dudes before he even jumps out and starts kicking ass. So I mean, it is a really important part, and I think they knocked it out of the park with that
I
Batmobile. I mean,
think
it
so too.
felt agile, it felt fast, but it felt tanky at the same time. Like again,
Yeah.
just perfectly done.
No, I completely agree with you there. I I remember when that game came out, I was obsessed with it for like a week. And I remember it was like I think it was like right as summer vacation started one year in high school. And oh my god, I was just I loved it so much.
Yeah. My biggest critique of that game is it's predictable. I think everybody knew who
Yeah,
the Arkham Knight was.
actually, I don't know if I did playing it for the first time because I wasn't too familiar with like Red Hood and the comics.
Oh yeah, true.
So
Yeah.
so I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest with you, if that's who I thought it was. I think I might have because I'm sure I was watching a lot of like videos about it beforehand and theory videos and whatnot. So I'm sure I was, but Alex says, hopefully we get Injustice 3 soon. I agree. That'd be so cool. I would love that. My brother says, not a classic superhero, but the Dragon Ball Z games for GameCube were the best. Tyler, I'm sure you have something to say about that. I know you're a big DBZ guy
Yep.
yourself.
Yeah, Budokai Tenkaichi, Xenoverse 2. I've played them all. I haven't played Sparkling Zero, which is the most recent one, but I've played everything else that has came out, and they are all good. You can play the same missions over and over, and it's still fun somehow.
Cool. Yeah, I don't remember playing those. I know my brother, I think I said this before, he liked Dragon Ball Z. And I remember him having those games, but I never got into them, to be honest. Fifth Jack Gaming game mechanics, fifth character. I got what you're laying down, Illuminati, and totally agree. I do agree with you there. I think the game mechanics are great for Batman. My brother also says, or the TMNT game at the arcade was great. Yeah, I remember when that came out on Xbox. Me and my brother played that. That
Yep.
came out on Xbox 360 at one point, and had a lot of fun with that. So yeah, that's a good one too. The most iconic Batmobile moment is in Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin. I'm not sure.
We also don't talk about that.
Okay, all right. All right, I know that's controversial run too. So I'm not too sure about that. Arkham games show how Batman doesn't kill. I mean, I feel like in that game, like if it was realistic, he definitely had a body count for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like no question about it. He was snapping necks left and right a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. In Arkham Knight, Bruce puts all the weight of his Batmobile on a goon's neck and revs the engine. I do remember that. Yeah,
Yes.
I do remember that. A raging blast. A flash game would be nice. Yes, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, and I agree. I think that'd be awesome. I think it'd be tough to nail those mechanics, and that's probably why we have not seen a flash game yet.
Yeah.
But I think it can be done. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it can be done. Next video game I want to talk about a little bit, unless you have one you want to bring up, is Spider-Man for PS4.
Yeah, I'm down. I got another Spider-Man game we can talk about afterwards, but I definitely want to hit on this for sure.
Cool. And there's another one I could think of too, actually. Web of Shadows, I remember playing.
Yeah, that's what I was
Is
gonna
that the
say.
one? Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember playing that, and that was a lot of fun. And I don't know if I ever beat it, but
Still the best Spider-Man game in my opinion, even over Insomniacs. The story and gameplay, everything, I was like perfect, so good.
I would disagree. But it was a lot of fun when I played it. I remember having a lot of fun when I played it. Yeah. Spider-Man for the PS4, though. I remember when that was announced, and I remember I was a freshman in college. The build up for that game, I was so freaking excited for it. I remember just watching videos upon videos of like theories about it and this and then, and oh my gosh, I was so excited for it. And I was not disappointed. I was in some respect. Like I think the boss fights were super lame. Um and could have been more challenging. And then it was just such a short game, which is okay. but I felt like there wasn't enough afterwards, you know? Like, I felt like there needed to be more, and I think even with Spider-Man 2, like, I got the platinum in that game after, like, 20 hours of playing it. It's like, okay, what's going on here? Like, that's insane. I feel like there needs to be either more story, which I don't know, right? Because I feel like the story is pretty good and pretty solid in both those games. So there needs to be like more engaging side missions, I feel like, in both those games, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I do like the first one, I think, more than the second one for sure. I did enjoy the second one, but I remember when I played it, I was like in a weird spot in life. And I don't know. It was just a weird time. And I think that affected my enjoyment of the video game in a weird way. So I don't know.
Fair.
What do you what's your experience with those games?
I agree with, it seems like the common opinion is one was better than two, so I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I just think number one was like lightning in a bottle that you just can't recreate. You know, the motion behind the storyline involving Aunt May and you know, Doc Ock and the
Yeah.
connections that were there and all that stuff. Like, you know, once those aspects were taken away, we there's no way to have it again in the second one because Aunt May
Yeah.
is not there now. You know,
Right.
Doc Ock's used, he's not there, you know.
Yeah.
So it fell flat on the emotional level there. And you know, I have best friends and stuff too. You know, I would be upset if something happened to them, but it's
Ah,
not the same
yeah.
as like your mother, you know, your mother figure, you
Yeah.
know. But then also I I wasn't a huge fan of the wingsuit. I mean, I know a lot of people really enjoyed it, and it caused the movement to be really fluid and a lot faster, but I don't know, I just like to just swing, you know, and I do
Yeah.
like that you don't have to use it. So it's,
Yeah.
you know, not the end of the world, but
I feel like
um
unless you're crossing the bridge, like you
yeah,
definitely I mean, you could cross the bridge swinging, but it would take longer, and I think the wingsuit is the best way to do that over the water.
yeah,
But I do
especially
agree
with
with
those
you.
wind tunnels or whatever when they like send you
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I think, I don't know. I was not in love with the wingsuit, you know? I
Yeah.
would always swing, you know, that was way more fun. Um, and I'm trying to remember about Spider-Man 2. I know there were some story beats I wasn't a huge fan of. Um, and it just felt a little different from Spider-Man 1. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with, like, the build up for the first one and my excitement and where I was in life, you know, and whatnot. Um, so I don't know, but I'm excited to see what they do with the third one. It's very clear they are doing a third one. What about the Miles Morales spinoff game? What did you think about that?
I loved that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought it was pretty solid.
I enjoyed that too. I played that game when I was like at a good spot in life. Um, and I do almost have like a little nostalgia for it. Like it reminds me of Christmas and the theme, you know, the Christmas is kind of like the theme of the video game too.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember like I got the PS5 when it came out and I got that game with it, and it was just the excitement around a new console and the new Spider-Man game, and it was a lot of fun. So I do like that game, and it was a short and sweet game. I thought, you know, that was I didn't pay full play price for it too, which I think helped a lot. Because if it was full price, I would have been pissed because it's way shorter than
Yeah.
the first or second one. So, but I feel like you got a little bit more of what you paid for, and I enjoyed it. So,
Yeah, I think my main critique, and I think you hit the nail on the head, was the side quest. You know, I mean,
yeah,
when we look at Arkham, a lot of those side quests led up to something, whether it was like a
right,
boss
yeah,
encounter or a cut scene that added even more narrative to the story. But like, I feel like every single side quest or collectible in Spider-Man was just like some like weird Easter egg where it was like, oh,
yeah,
part of the multiverse of the Miles Morales movies or something like that. And it's like I just
Yeah,
want more of a reason to collect 1 million cyborg spiders in this city, like
for sure. I completely agree with you there. I think the Arkham games, their side missions feel so much more rewarding.
yeah.
And there's a bit more variation too with the side missions compared to the Spider-Man games. And I think the Spider-Man side missions get so repetitive so quick
Yep.
because you're just doing the same thing over again for each one pretty much. Um so yeah, I do yeah, I think it just got too repetitive. It was a little the side missions were a little too shallow for me. I didn't enjoy it that much.
Well,
It felt like
I
I was
feel like
just
it
checking something off, you know?
it towed the line of like that Ubisoft cut and paste aspect that they kind of apply to like Assassin's Creed games and like Far Cry games,
Yeah,
where it's like go here, clear this den of enemies, and then go here, activate this computer, which will give you more of the map or whatever, and it's just like, I just need more than that.
I agree
Then
completely. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Arkham had it
Uh,
down for sure.
I think so. Even with like the Riddler trophies, which were definitely the most tedious side missions, I think the payoff with collecting those was rewarding, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I like I said, I'm excited to see what they do with Spider-Man 3 and where the story goes, but I think they definitely need to add a little more in the open world aspect of it, you know?
Yeah.
I will say I hate the new Miles Morales suit at the end of the game. That is awful. It's like, what are you thinking? Like that looks so bad.
It was
But
a
I don't know.
brand deal. It was a
Was
brand
it?
deal.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's horrible. I hate that so much. Um, and then also too, there was a new spider person introduced, Silk, or
Silk, yeah,
teased.
Cindy Moon.
Yeah, she was teased. So it'll be cool to see where they go with that. I'm sure. I feel like the third game will probably like wrap up Peter Parker's story, and I think at that point either they continue on with like Miles Morales, and Silk, and maybe throw in some other spider people, whatever. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Um, we did get an interesting question from Alex. I asked this question earlier. I do apologize. I did not see it. Should superhero games prioritize an art style or realism? That's a great question. And I think it's all depending on the subject matter.
Yes.
But I think in some cases it can be both, right? Like you look at a game like Spider-Man and then Ultimate Spider-Man. I think the art style in Ultimate Spider-Man works really well, and I think too there was a bit of a limitation when it came to technology. They weren't able to make it realistic, so they use that to their favor in a way. And I think that works really well. And I think you could even do a stylistic Spider-Man today and have it work really well. Um, so I think it depends, and like the Hellboy game that came out, that was very stylized in the same art style of Mike Magnolia. Um, and I think that is perfect. I don't think we should get a separate sort of art style. I think it should stay in the same vein as the
Yeah.
comics. So I think it really is just all dependent on the source material. What do you
Yeah.
think, Illuminati?
I think it's dependent on the source material, but I also think it depends on like how those characters would translate, like
Oh yeah,
for example, Ninja Turtles are often a stylistic graphic video game
right.
anytime they come out, and that's because they work well with a more stylistic art style where Batman, he can go either way, but you're going to want that realistic,
Yeah,
dark and gritty look to him rather than like something cell shaded. So I think you're right, it depends on like the source material, but
yeah,
how well those characters will translate into whatever art direction you want to go to.
yeah. So I think it's yeah. I think it just depends, and I think if you have a good team behind it and a clear creative vision for a project, I think it will work for
Yeah.
sure. But like what you said, I mean, with Batman and like the bigger name superheroes, I'm always probably going to want to see more of a realistic take, right? But with smaller characters like Hellboy, not to say Hellboy's a small character at all because he's not. But I think that does work better in more of an our artistic style.
Yep.
Spider-Man 2, I stink at gliding, so that is preventing on getting that 100%. Yeah, that was. I remember there was a mission, or I'm sorry, just like a trophy you had to get where you glide from one city to the other without swinging at all, and that took me a little bit. Yeah, the Adidas ad. Yeah, that's
Yep.
crazy for that suit. What are your thoughts on Marvel Rivals? We touched on that a little bit at the beginning. I haven't played enough of it. I think I do want to play more of it. Maybe we can try to set something up where we play. So I need to play a little bit more of it to see if I like it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And Tyler, I know you're a big fan of it so far.
Yeah, Alexander, let everybody know who you main. I'm curious.
Yeah. He's playing it right now. Yeah, let us
Yeah.
know who your character is, who you like to play. Alex says, I think art styles tend to age better, like Marvel versus Capcom 3 or Marvel Rivals versus something like the Avengers game that has already aged badly and doesn't look good. I do agree with you there. And I mean, look at Ultimate Spider-Man from the early 2000s or whenever that game came out. I mean, that hasn't aged poorly necessarily, at least compared to the quote unquote more realistic takes of Spider-Man in video games at that time with like the Sam Raimi games, right? Alexander plays Invisible Woman.
Ooh.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's downloaded on my PS5. So I think I'm gonna update it and maybe try it out again. And I think I just need to, I don't know. I go through phases with video games where I like playing video games and then I don't. And I don't know, I'm kind of in that weird funk right now. I'm not playing video games, I guess. But
Yeah. I'm typically, we've talked about on other shows, I'm typically an RPG player and I stay far away from multiplayer games, but this one, I don't know if it's the Marvel aesthetic or what, but something about it has me hooked. Like I itch to play it all the time now. And I haven't felt that for a really long time since like, high school when I was in game battles for, Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 2 and then eventually Smite and um yeah, but this is like, I don't know, I feel like a kid again. It's great.
well, that's good. That's good. I will say I tend not to be a super competitive person when it comes to video games. So I don't love multiplayer games a lot of the times, and I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I do like more solo player games, not necessarily even RPGs. I do like more linear solo player games, I guess. But yeah, I think Alex says I had to stop playing Rivals. I wasn't reading enough. That also happens to me when I get really into video game. Is I stop reading, and I love to read, so I
Yeah.
try not to. Tell you what, Labursky, you play, and I will try to get better. LOL at Luminary and Alexander Miller. What do you suggest as a start character for Rivals? Ooh, that's a good question. Who do you think is like a good, basic, fairly easy character to get kind of the hang of the game?
Well, if you want to tank, I would say Venom. He's a 1-star character. He's very easy to get down. Lots of CC. He has a built-in shield in his kit, so he's pretty good. If you want to heal, I would say Jeff the Land Shark. He's pretty simple. You just point and shoot and you can heal people. And then for DPS, I would say Punisher or Star-Lord. They're kind of point and click, or even Winter Soldier. Like you can you can start off with basics and be pretty good with Winter Soldier, but if you get his kit down, like you're just deadly at that point. So yeah, I would say those characters.
Cool. Alex says Punisher.
Yeah.
Alexander says start is Cloak and Dagger. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna update my game after this. I think maybe I'll try playing a little bit tonight. For DPS, use Iron Man. Cool.
Iron Man's good too.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try it out tonight. Maybe give it another go. I've been playing a lot of Balatro though, which I think I talked about. So much fun. I love that game. It's a rogue like card game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Well, I saw you streaming the other day. You were playing
Tunic.
Yeah, Tunic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like Tunic. But I think if you stream Marvel Rivals, like I think a lot of people would be jumping in there to watch.
All right.
It's hot right now. It's really hot.
Maybe that's the game I'll play for Monday night's gaming stream. We'll see. I'll have to probably download it on my computer though. But that's fine. Anyhow, yeah, I think we're about ready to end it. I mean, unless we have anything else to add.
No, the only other game I would want to talk about is Web of Shadows, but I feel like I don't need to sell you on Web of Shadows if you've played Web of Shadows.
Well, you can sell the audience if you'd like on it.
Okay, I'm gonna make my argument on why it's better than Spider-Man PS4.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So Web of Shadows was the first Spider-Man game where when you would web sling, your web would actually attach to buildings, which we didn't see in any Spider-Man game other than Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi movie game. Ultimate Spider-Man did it sometimes, but every now and again you'd climb up your web and it would just be floating there. But the combat is really where it shines because I've never felt more like Spider-Man ever than in that game. The technological aspect of the newer Spider-Man games is where it kind of loses me combat-wise, because while I know Peter Parker is a genius and he has technology, we don't see him use it in the comic books all that much. Like, other than like spider armor here and there, like he's usually just a web slinger. So in Web of Shadows, you had all your different ways you could shoot your webs to damage enemies, and then you had a web zip attack that was like the main point of the combat, where you would just bounce off your enemies like a slinky one after another, and you could pick them up and surf on them. You could grab them and throw them into other enemies. You could just bounce off them and to get to like a higher height. And there's actually a boss fight that takes place with Vulture. The entire boss fight is in the air. Like, you don't touch the ground at all. You're staying in the air by bouncing off of his enemies that he's sending after you. And you're just punching him in the face any chance you get. And then on top of that, Venom's the main bad guy. It's about a symbiote virus, pretty much viral outbreak. It feels like a zombie story almost, where Venom's symbiote is like going crazy and infecting everybody, including superheroes, because Wolverine's in the game, Moon Knight's in the game, Mary Jane, Kingpin, Luke Cage, all of these characters, Black Cat, are all in the game. And you can become friends with them. You can fight against them. There is a light and dark side avenue of the entire story, because you can switch between red suit Spider-Man or black suit Spider-Man. They have all different abilities. And yeah, you fight Venomized Wolverine. You can fight Venomized Mary Jane. You can fight massive Venoms. Yeah, I literally think that's the next in line perfect superhero game behind the Arkham games is Spider-Man Web of Shadows.
Wow. I think you might have sold some people in the chat here.
It's
That was a
so
great.
good.
That was a great sales pitch. You're not in sales, are you?
No.
You should be after that.
Yeah, I'm good at customer service, but no skills at least.
I would say I'm okay at customer service. I don't like it though. I probably shouldn't
Oh, I
say this
don't like
because
it.
I am seeking a job. So
Yeah, I don't like it either. I mean, there's times at my job where I'm sure they can see steam coming out of my ears, but I'm like, "Hello, how are you doing?" But
that's how it goes sometimes.
I'm good at the
Um,
voice part, like saying what I need to say, but the face usually just gives away everything.
that's what I remember it when I was a cashier too. I would
Yeah.
I think I just have a resting bitch face sometimes. And I remember one lady, she's like, "You could at least smile, pretend you like your job." And she walked out. I'm like, "You're right. I should try better. I'm sorry." Yeah. Anyhow, Alex says, "I just realized nobody mentioned the Deadpool game. That is true.
Mhm.
I don't. I did not play it, so I don't know. I had a friend who played it, so I remember a little bit about it, and that was about it. Yeah, I never played it. What about you?
Yeah, I played it, and it was pretty repetitive, but it was good. It felt Deadpool, so they hit the nail on the head, but the gameplay was just kind of I don't really like hack and slash video games, if I'm being honest. Like,
That's fair.
the
Okay.
Devil May Cries, the Dante's Inferno, it's not my
I
cup of tea.
I do kind of like hack and slash video games. There was one that came out this previous year, Stellar Blade. Have you heard about Stellar Blade? Look it up. I
Let me
think
see a picture.
you'll know why I like it within the first second. But it was a hack and slash video game, and it was a lot of fun. The gameplay was a lot of fun. But
Okay.
it had some other features I enjoyed about it. Let's just say
Like physics?
physics. Yeah, you know, I did enjoy that. That's very much a hack and slash video game, and
Yeah, I
I
like Souls,
I did find it
but
fun.
I don't know if that falls into hack and slash, but
No, I wouldn't say so.
yeah.
Similar though.
Yeah,
It's similar, but
like
it
Neo, which is a Souls-like, it's a PlayStation exclusive where
yep.
it's samurais. Like that's one of my favorite games ever, but it's not like Devil May Cry or anything or Bayonetta. Yeah, that's a good title too, Alex.
Bayonetta and Devil May Cry are some of my favorites. I do want to try Bayonetta, but I don't think the first one's available on or on PlayStation, or maybe it's the second one. I don't know. I do want to try it though.
You said on Switch. I was like, what the heck?
It is on Switch. I think the first two are on Switch.
Wow.
I believe.
I didn't
I
know
don't
that.
have a Switch though anymore, so I don't know. I feel like I was missing a comment that I wanted to highlight. Right here, Alex. The problem with these older Marvel games is they aren't available to purchase via the digital shop,
Yeah.
and they resell for a lot of money. Yeah, that's unfortunate. You're right. That is true. So
Yeah.
maybe that will
Ultimate
change.
Alliance 1 and 2 you can't buy, and that is heartbreaking for me.
Dang. I wonder. Hopefully, that will change eventually. I mean, I feel like a lot of video game companies have been porting old video games or like allowing like cloud streaming
Mhm.
from older systems and stuff. So hopefully that will change at some point where can revisit some of those older games for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope so, because those were my actual childhood games, Ultimate Alliance and X-Men Legends 1 and 2. Those were like so good, so much
those
fun.
were the games. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing Ultimate Alliance. I believe thought it was fun. So, but yeah, I think that about does it for today's show. Like I
Yeah.
said, unless we have any last minute video games that we want to touch on, I mean, we can do another video game show eventually. I'm sure we will at some point.
I
So
think we
can
need to. We
recommend.
got a hardcore detoured with the chat. Like they just went off and we
I
started going
know,
down.
I know. I guess we should turn the show into a video game show from now on. Actually, just video games. No, just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of any other. We mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it for superhero video games that I can think
Yeah.
of right now, at least. I
Yeah.
hope there's more in the future, as I'm sure there will be. I know James Gunn has teased that the video games are going to tie into like the movies and stuff, which will be interesting to see how that plays out. And I maybe I'll stream Marvel Rivals for this Monday night gaming. We'll see. That's a
Yeah.
good idea you gave me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be I like going back to what you said about James Gunn, that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
that would be awesome. That would be sweet. I would love that.
Like
Um,
fill in the gap
yeah,
of between movies with a video game and hey, this is what Batman's doing. That would be wicked.
that would be sweet. We'll see. I know there was the Batman Arkham VR game that came out recently. There's been two, but there was one like in October and November or
Hmm.
something
Yeah.
that came out that I heard good things about. And I know Rockstar, the developers of the Arkham series, I think there's been rumors that they're kind of just rebooting it and kind of restarting fresh after Suicide Squad flopped. So we'll see.
Mm.
We'll see. I'm sure we'll get Arkham Shadow. Thank you, Alexander. Fifth Chat Gaming. It was a blast chat. I mean, my success at Marvel Rivals journey. LMAO. Oh, are you gonna stream Marvel Rivals? That'd be cool. Adam, you should do that. Yeah, Rocksteady. Yes. DC Universe Online had great cutscene trailers. That game's coming back. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got Beyond Comics. What's up, Beyond Comics? I want to play that Arkham VR game so bad, but not sure I can justify Meta Quest just for that. I hear you there. It's funny. I bought a Meta Quest in the springtime because I can't remember, not because of the Batman Arkham game. I wasn't even out yet, but I had the money and I was like, you know what, I want to try something new. And um, it was fun, the Meta Quest. I did get a little motion sick at times, so I don't know if I can do VR right now, at least till they perfect the technology when it comes to that. And there wasn't a lot of games on there either. It was all the games are
Yeah.
so expensive, and it's like this is not worth it right now. But it was cool. So I do think the VR definitely still has a future ahead of it. I don't think VR gaming is going to take over the world and replace like traditional VR or gaming in general. But I think VR. I'm excited to see what VR does in the future because I think it'll be
I
cool.
will say on the topic of comic book video games, Walking
Yeah.
Dead, Saints and Sinners, and the Star Wars Darth Vader games on VR are phenomenal. Literally phenomenal.
Okay. Interesting. Do you have a
Really.
VR headset?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which one? Or is it?
Quest 2.
No, I think that's the one I got. Or maybe
Yeah,
I did get.
not the newest one, the older one. I got it like last year.
Yeah, I can't remember which one I got. But it's funny. I downloaded a ping pong game and I was playing that. And I'm like, wait, I can just go play ping pong in real life. What am I doing? I'm like, this is so I don't know. I fit the jack. Yeah, but don't have a schedule. It's gonna be whenever I can work it in. Take it over for my Marvel Snap Time. Awesome, dude. Let me know when you do play. I would love to play with you. And Illuminati, I will send you the invite as well if you want to play that. And Alexander Miller, I know you play as well. That'd be awesome to get a rival team going. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's show. Though we've been going for almost 2 hours now, which is awesome. But I am tired. I want to go eat ice cream and read some comics. So that's what I'm going to do.
Nice.
Yeah. But everyone, please go subscribe to Illuminati if you have not already done so. There's a link in the description below. If you are not in our Discord, join the Discord, link in the description below. You can check me out on the socials in the link in the description below. And yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you all for 300 subscribers. That's incredible. And we will see you in the next All in One Nerd Show. Take care.